So, the Senior Rotax Heat 2. The final heat of the day before we go into lunch, which I've just been told is 20 minutes instead of 30 minutes. It's got pole position, the number 81, Ben Folland, and the 45 of Lucas Ellingham alongside him. Row 2, the 124 of Charlie Webb, and the 14 of Jack Cooper. Row 3, 166 of Jack Gillingham, and 43 of Stefan Kasprczyk. Row 4, 88, Alex Moody, and the 33 of Leo Brown. Row 5, 39, Brandon Klein Nagelvort, hoping to have better engine issue, no engine issues compared to race 1. 37, Ben Ballou. And row 6, 55, Ethan Martin, and 16, George Donald. Row 7, 31, Sam Baker, and 44, Ross Tyler. Row 8, 101, Archie Buttle, and number 13, Zaki Hussein. Row 9, 67, Louis Weaver, and 66, Samuel Cook. Row 10, 12, Jack Collins, and 96, William Pemble. Row 11, 157 of Finley Hayes, and 27, James Tester. Row 12, 175 of Harrison Morrow, and 144 of someone. Row 13, 171, Stephanie Hobecker, and 15 of Benjamin Southgate. Row 14 is 87, Mac McFarquhar, and 158 of Jack Wilch. Row 15 is 113 of Joe Fox, and 77, Romarian Ubi. And row 16, 74, Asapinda, and 112 of Jack Richards. Row 17, 114 of Paulo Nunes Aranda, and 22, Lorenzo Cordal. And that is everyone in the Senior Rotax Heat 2. It's been one hell of a morning, hasn't it, John?
It has.
It's been really enjoyable, and with any luck, this will end us on a high before we go into the finals. And, well, with the WM plate up for grabs, everybody is going to be absolutely desperate, aren't they, to try and master the weather and get into there as quickly as possible.
Exactly, yeah, particularly if it's going to stay like that. Of course, we had murmurings that it was going to rain around 1 p.m, I think it was, 1 to 2 to 3 p.m, as we got ready into the finals. Of course, that's been we're going to be a little bit later than that, potentially now with a shortened lunch break and things like that. But it is meant to stay rather moist here at Wilton Mill for the WM plate. So this is a perfect time for the drivers to try and master the wet conditions, as you say, before that all-important final later on, because it doesn't matter, even if you do have a stinker in one of the heats and you get a bad grid position, it's still all to play for in the WM plate final later on this afternoon. So let's see, as these drivers come out for their first time in these rather slippery conditions, how they are able to deal with it. Of course, we've just seen the Senior X30s out. They dealt with it pretty well. Let's see if the Rotaxes can do just the same as well.
Yeah, of course, when these guys were last out, it was just icy, wasn't it? Well, not even icy. It was just a bit
cold.
Sort of cold,
just
really.
cold.
Difficult to warm the tyres up, whereas now it's going to be difficult to warm the tyres up and difficult to actually decide what the fastest line is. Yeah, the lunch break, as I just mentioned, is 20 minutes and not 30 minutes. So we should obviously get this race done by about 25 past, and then it's going to be 20 minutes from there. So I would guess maybe at quarter to 2, potentially we might be back. If you're tuning in, come back at quarter 2 and you'll probably be good for the first race, Junior Max final. But of course, you've got a good 8-minute race to go before that.
Of course, but between that as well, during the lunch break, we will have a waiting screen, and when we know the time that we're coming back,
yes,
a timer will
countdown.
appear on that as well, so
Yeah.
you'll be able to check on the screen. And
No
see,
paddock show though today,
no paddock show, sadly. You won't be able to see our beautiful faces, probably luckily, to be honest. Right, let's get this underway then. Senior Max Heat number 2 is already underway, and can the drivers keep it on the black stuff? No, they cannot. Some taking to the grass. All managing to join without taking someone else out, though. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, the advantage of understeering is the fact that you're not going to get anybody flying on the inside accidentally. Oh, Christmas corner, too much, too late. 124, Charlie Webb and Lucas Ellingham.
It is.
Again, Lucas Ellingham is just in the wars, isn't he? A race one to forget. He had a half-decent recovery, but he had contact. Oh. And there's more people flying off on the edge of the circuit now.
Watch out for our camera.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, there's Darren in the director's box is thinking, oh, gosh, it's going to be an expensive day.
We'll be invoicing you.
It'll be invoiced, yeah, exactly. We'll be doing the old Jonathan Palmer, won't we, instead? Invoicing you for every blade of grass you touch. But it looks like everybody's managed to get through, and there is no Battenberg. There's quite a lot of Battenbergs in Heat 1, but surprisingly, not really many Battenbergs in Heat 2, has there, considering the weather has changed?
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't even know a reasoning behind that, to be fair, but we've just been quite lucky through these second heats, so there haven't been too many. What a first lap from Ben Folland, a 1 minute .53. Everyone else is in the lowest of the 1 minute 2s, and he's already got a 2.6 second lead. This is amazing.
It's fantastic, isn't it? For him, anyway. Not so great for the rest of the track. Nagelvoort, now there is a storyline. He is in second place, up from 9th. Remember, he was rapid in race 1. Then engine died.
Yes.
His engine just completely stopped.
Just gave up on
didn't
it?
And he's going to be hoping that doesn't happen again. There's going to be some understeer surely here on the inside. No, they managed to all get themselves stopped. I was fearful that was going to end up a lot worse, and it did. A little bit of sideways, a little bit of movement as they come back onto the circuit. The number 14 is sort of hung out to dry slightly as the 27 gets
James
bumped
Tester.
big time out of the way. As William Pemble goes through, the number 96, I think, was there. Oh, I'll tell you what, the speed off the corner there.
That was
the
James
outside
Tester
line.
again.
Yeah, Tester from that outside, just absolutely flooring it, and lovely bit of pace off the corner. But it's so difficult out there to retain the position.
Indeed it is. Fastest lap goes back the way of Brandon Klein Nagelvoort, though. So that 2.6 second gap, now 2.4. So slowly but surely closing that gap. Still got just less than 5 minutes to go in this race. So still definitely time to have a leading battle on our hands. As the 16 of George Donald thinking about a move on Alex Moody there for 7th place up at Christmas Corner. Late on the brakes of James Tester, and he is going to go in the back of the car in front, and he is going to spin. James Tester goes for a spin up at Christmas Corner, went into the back of the 96 of William Pemble. And James Tester, sadly, is going to be dropping down the order after that one.
It's a shame, isn't it? But you always got the impression that there was going to be some kind of contact in that little battle. A little bit too close for comfort. There was too many people trying to go to too many different opportunities, and it's so hard to read everybody when you're in these conditions, and especially if there's 4 or 5 carts around you. There was always going to be something to give, wasn't there, unfortunately. The 16 and the 166 is something quite satisfying about that. But that's George Donald versus Jack Gillingham. The fight for, I'll tell you in a second, is it the 5th place fight? I'm not entirely sure because the timing screen decided to break. There we go. No, Lucas Ellingham up to 5th place after contact at Christmas Corner, doing what he does best and going quickly.
Yeah, exactly. He's leading this train of 4 at the moment. On the number 45 is Lucas Ellingham. Bit of a gap forward to Benjamin Ballou in 4th place, though, a good couple of seconds. So he's going to do his best to clear these 3 battling in behind him. Well, what a battle it is. Someone else now going down the inside of Jack Gillingham. I think that might be Alex Moody taking his taking that spot away from Jack Gillingham, going up into 7th place. Yeah, Lucas Ellingham, after that earlier unluckiness, I guess we can call it, getting involved in that squabble on the first lap. He's fighting back through the pack very well, just as he did in heat number 1. He dropped all the way down to pretty much last place in heat 1, didn't he, after that early lap crash, himself and someone else going straight on at Oblivion. He fought back up to 16th. So, damage limitation, he did that very well. Now, in this race, he needs to get a good result to try and maximise his starting position for the WM Plate Final happening later on this afternoon. But Ben Folland continues to extend that gap ever so slightly out front. Fastest lap, now 59.670 for Ben.
He's flying, isn't he? He was qualified on pole position. I believe in the first race, he was also pretty much the first driver of the day that qualified on pole and then pretty much didn't have to worry too much about anything. He just drove the race and won, and in this he's also basically done that. But Lucas Ellingham, on the other hand, has been just done dirty, hasn't he, really? It's like I said in the previous race, I'd rather start, well, obviously I'd rather start first, but I'd rather start 3rd or 5th or even 7th than 2nd, 4th or 6th, to be honest, and be on the outside line, so you can get the power down early and get the better start, get into the first couple of corners. You can probably jump 3 people before you even got to the start-finish line if you're on the outside here. So it's very difficult if you qualified on 2nd place. You've done very well, but you almost get punished for it.
Yeah, exactly, and you also have the issue of you're on the inside as you come through the last corner, as you say, difficult to get the power down, but then coming through the first corner, you're then on the outside, so everyone that understeers into you and knocks you off the circuit. That's exactly what happened to Lucas Ellingham in that first heat of the day.
It was indeed, and we're starting to see a little bit more battling, though, start to bubble up with the 13 cart, which is the fight. Where is the 13 cart? Zaki Hussein in 16th position versus, I think it's Romarian Ubi with the 77. There's the 39, though, of Brandon Klein Nagelvoort. Is he catching? He has just set a fastest lap of the race. It's a 10th and a half quicker than...
Sort of stayed the same, I think, the last couple of laps.
He has just got a 10th quicker than Ben Folland, but...
They're sort of trading, aren't they, the top 3?
it's not really worth sort of noting just yet. Let's not get excited for the last minute just yet. If he keeps attacking curbs like that, I think... what your point? Sorry.
I'm just impressed with how much Sam Baker closed in on that last lap.
True.
That gap was 2 seconds, and it's now less than 0.8 of a second. He closed in by, what's that, 7-8 tenths?
Yep, and a fastest lap to boot, 59.20. Look at that. Very, very quick indeed. That is quicker than Nagelvort's fastest lap by 0.3 of a second.
Impressive stuff.
So, yeah, very, very good.
Nagelvort's gone wide off of that right-hander there through Boxing Day. That could give an opportunity to Sam Baker here, but the timer ticking below 30 seconds. I think we'll likely get 2 laps left here. Opportunistic from Sam Baker, but the door closes once more. He's going to have to rethink that one if he wants to take second place. I think they can both assume that Ben Folland is gone here. What a perfect day it's been so far for Ben Folland. And he should. This is going to be close here to whether we get 1 or 2 more laps. I think it will just be 2 more laps. Yes, it is. So penultimate lap of the race then for Ben Folland. There is a yellow flag going through the first sector of corners. Is someone off at a shot? Yes, they are. They're rejoining on their Fernando Alonso kart. Not sure exactly who that was, but good to see them rejoin the race nonetheless.
Yeah, we'll probably want to get out of the way because they're a back marker, aren't they? And they're right in the way, and in fact, they made a little bit of contact there.
That's Finley Hayes just getting back on after that incident, and luckily managing to keep out of the way. But definitely Sam Baker's lost a bit of time through all that.
Just look how much they go into the corner and they just throw the cart in, and look, they lock their arms, don't they, to try and make sure they want the cart at full lock, and it's the strongest position they can put themselves in. If you look going through this corner, it's a really good example. Look, they lean over the cart.
The rear left tyre came completely off the ground.
Exactly. They're leaning their way over the cart to try and get as much weight and as much grip onto the front right and the rear right as possible. And also, it's the strongest position to keep your arm locked at that understeer position, isn't it? Because you want it at pretty much as full lock as you can. You'll never see them turn the wheel that much in the dry conditions.
Never. They barely put any steering in place, or the back end just slides out completely.
It's incredible. The difference that the weather can make with these tyres. Again, it's a completely different driving style. It's a completely different kettle of fish. As I said, it's pretty incredible, really. And even under braking down, I'm impressed that they're not locking and having to slide it completely. We see quite a lot of people locking and sliding, but in the wet tyres, you don't want that because you just scrub the tyres and you end up with a bit of a 50p piece almost. And yes. It's vibrations that are just really annoying. In the wet tyres, you don't want to scrub any tread off them at all because they're wet. You want the tread. That's the point of them.
Yes. Yeah, no, exactly. Now, Sam Baker was flying earlier on, but Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort has done a brilliant job over these last couple of laps, just managing the gap on that 39-plated kart, just ahead of them though. What a race from Ben Folland. 2 wins from 2. He'll be starting the final on pole position later on today. The 81 of Ben Folland takes another deserved win here at the Wilton Mill Kart Club WM Plate for 2023. Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort and Sam Baker round out the podium in that second heat of the day for the senior Rotaxes. And here we see the rest of the field. Now, slowly but surely, come across the line. Some good battles there in the mid-pack. There's Benjamin Ballou, who came across in 4th place, and George Donald, Louis Weaver, Lucas Ellingham finishing in 7th place. So I think another issue there because he was 3 seconds behind 5th, and he was in 5th last time we checked in on him, wasn't he? So maybe another issue there for Lucas Ellingham. Either way, finishing 7th, not bad, but he's going to have his work cut out for him in the final later on. Alex Moody, Ethan Martin and Lorenzo Cordal rounded out the top 10. Behind them were Benjamin Southgate, Jack Gillingham, William Pemble, Zaki Hussain, Charlie Webb, James Tester, Archie Bustle, Jake Richards, Stefan Kaczmarzyk and Harry Blore round out the top 20. Then Romarion Ubi, Jack Collins, Jack Cooper, Paolo Nunes Aranda, Leo Brown, Harrison Morrow and Jack Wilch come across the line. Jack being your top novice from today. Then it was Ross Tyler, Asa Pinder, Stephanie Herbecker, Mac Farquhar and then Finley Hayes. And sadly, Joe Fox didn't make it to the finish line on that one. But that brings us to the end of all of our heats today for the WM Plate, and it's safe to say it was pretty exciting, don't you think, Jack?
Oh, it was brilliant, to be honest. It had the change of weather, it had some slick running, it had some wet running, had a lot of drama, shall we say.
Yes.
Some races where I thought they're going to have to red flag this at some point. We had Battenberg flags as well. It was really good. If it sets up the final nicely, I wouldn't mind it being the rain stopping from now and it being a drying track. I think that could be really exciting for the finals. And yeah, ultimately, really good. So,
penalty for Lucas Ellingham. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all good. If there's penalties, there's drama, isn't there? I think I'll be surprised if Lucas Ellingham doesn't just get